कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लिबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की
In the news tonight, political parties unwilling to engage. No pay cuts for civil servants. A new program to counter pandemic misinformation.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
Pulavunaka, Fiji. The Fijian Elections Office has revealed that some political parties are opposing efforts to collaborate and improve the conduct of general elections. Supervisor of Elections Muhammad Saneem and his team made submissions on 3 bills to change Fiji's electoral framework. Saneem told the Parliamentary Committee that while the FEO tries to include political parties as much as possible, many are unwilling to accept new ideas. According to the Elections Office, opposition parties create roadblocks even when it comes to improving operations.
I'm sure that it's a relationship that has to be built. There is a misnomer that political parties in opposition have to oppose everything. And so when they come to these meetings, they already tell me, don't worry, we'll oppose it.
At a meeting last week, one opposition party told the FEO they will not back amendments to political party audits and financial disclosures.
If they look at it objectively, the bills will be supported. And one of the representatives immediately said to me, sorry, we will not support it. So I said, that is your call. Of course, you are in Parliament.
Saneem adds the conduct of elections must be taken out of the political arena.
The election preparation and the election process is an apolitical exercise. And that is where political parties need to remove the political ideologies and look at it objectively.
We all want the system to be free and fair and credible, and we all support that, and we are all here for this particular bill, so we get a credible election come 2022.
Public consultations on the 3 electoral bills continue this week. There will be no pay cuts for civil servants, says Minister for Economy A.S. Syed Qayyum. During the online budget consultation, Syed Qayyum highlighted that the government pays over $1.1 billion in wages and salaries every year. Kritika Kumar has the details.
There are close to 30,000 people working in the civil service, and slashing their pay would have a ripple effect on the economy.
A lot of the civil servants, when it's government pay week, they actually go and occupy these hotels or take their family members because the room rates are pretty attractive now. So that has a, what we call a spillover effect. It creates robustness within the economy.
Syed Qayyum says they will have to borrow more for their expenditure. The major chunk of the expenditure is the salary bill of the civil servants. During the online consultation, Syed Qayyum highlighted that all ministries must provide a 3-year budget plan because long-term planning is important.
We have to ensure that the civil servants, in particular those who give approvals, they actually work really well. They quicken their processes. They become a lot more customer-centric, customer-focused, serve really the public well.
Syed Qayyum says they are also trying to reform some archaic processes within the civil service to boost investor and business confidence. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The Fijian government will pay for the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines if the need arises. Responding to questions during the virtual budget consultations, Minister for Economy A.S. Syed Qayyum highlighted the government has the fiscal capacity to pay for the vaccines. Dipesh Kumar reports.
The minister says while procuring the COVID-19 vaccine will be costly, the government is willing to take that step.
It is not an easy thing to do. As you know, that most of the larger countries in the world are also struggling with supply, but Fiji is ready to also procure the vaccines. We're not simply relying on aid or grant. It may cost us $40, $50, $60 million. That's fine. We're willing to pay that. We have the fiscal capacity, the budget capacity.
Syed Qayyum says once the vaccination process gets underway, people will feel secure in visiting Fiji.
But for us, what is critically important is to secure the supply, pay for the vaccine, and ensure that everybody gets vaccinated, because I cannot overemphasize this. The moment that we have 70% of the population vaccinated, people will feel a lot more secure. Governments will feel a lot more secure to allow their citizens to come to Fiji for tourism purposes.
If all, this COVID-19 generally, if the pandemic gets fixed up and tourism gets back, we will get back and we'll get the usual support from the tourism sector towards the growth of our GDP, towards our economy. And that's we're looking forward. We're really looking forward to that. If that happens, we're waiting, hopefully 2021, 2022, that happens.
The tourism industry contributes to 40% of the GDP, and the government aims to securely open the borders so that travel can be allowed. Dipesh Kumar, FBC News.
Local civil society organizations today received financial assistance to develop and implement programs to counter misinformation and hate speech related to COVID-19. The Fiji Council of Social Services and the International Republican Institute, with support of AusAid, will develop projects to mitigate COVID-19 related stigma. Jeshulal reports.
One of the aim of the project is to address the stigma associated with testing positive for COVID-19.
Misinformation threatens all the gains and sacrifices made by the Fijians and their fight to keep COVID-19 from disrupting their communities.
But there was really nothing allocated for misinformation and hate speech, more like information dissemination. So through USAID and IRI, we have been able to engage with the EFCOS, who's our local counterpart here in Fiji.
The Combating Misinformation and Hate Speech Surrounding COVID-19 in Fiji project was launched today.
We care about this region, its people, their health and well-being. We are proud to support you in the fight against COVID-19.
Under the project, 3 sub-grants of $10,000 each have been given to civil society organizations that will be used to educate Fijians on how they can protect themselves and support those impacted by the pandemic. Jeshulal, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health and Medical Services has received 22,000 gene expert test kits valued at around $900,000. Minister for Health Dr. Ifiremi Wangai-Nambete says the new test kits will strengthen their capacity to screen samples at the borders and the high-risk communities as well. Koroi Tandulala reports.
The continuous dialogue between the developing partners such as the Asian Development Bank and UNICEF has enabled the procurement of these testing kits.
We had 200 tests done yesterday, even though we only have 2 active cases. We are testing extensively within the community.
Everyone's focused on the vaccines, but the key part really is the testing itself. Making sure that we know that people are safe and making sure that we have the most accurate possible tests.
Over 30,000 COVID-19 tests has been conducted so far, and the additional 22,000 gene expert kits provided to the Ministry of Health and Medical Services today is expected to boost the COVID-19 testing capacity.
ADB has provided about US $8 million to support Pacific Island countries in procuring COVID-19 test kits and also other items like personal protective equipment and also essential medical supplies.
We want to keep on increasing the capacity of testing in the community. That is important because that confirms our COVID-contained status.
The Health Minister says they hope to continue testing vigorously to ensure Fiji maintains its COVID-contained status as we await the beginning of the COVID vaccination locally. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
And we now join Koroi Tandulala live. Koroi, what else can you tell us about Fiji's COVID-19 testing capacity?
Edwin, despite no COVID-19 community transmission recorded in the past 317 days, Fiji is not showing any signs of slowing down when it comes to testing capacity. The Ministry of Health and its COVID team are also ensuring that anyone showing up to hospital with any respiratory related illness or symptoms, or anyone showing symptoms that is related to that of COVID-19 are tested. They're also ensuring that frontline workers are tested on a regular basis, as they are the one manning the quarantine facilities, ensuring that there is no quarantine breach. As of recently, Fiji currently have 3 active border quarantine cases, and all the 3 patients are admitted at the Lautoka Hospital Isolation Unit. Now, to add on to this, 30,607 tests have been conducted so far, with an average daily of 209 tests per day conducted in Fiji for the past 2 weeks as well. And just before we wrap up, 766 people who recently returned from overseas are undergoing their mandatory 14-day quarantine in the quarantine designated facilities in the Western Division. Edwin.
Vinaka Koroi. Up ahead, Fijians in Auckland safe, and Expo aims to lure new investors.
baik tu dia jadi mereka tahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Welcome back. Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Kayum has clarified he will undergo quarantine after returning from his medical treatment in Singapore. The clarification comes after rumor mongering on social media that the AG will not undergo mandatory quarantine requirements. Speaking during the virtual budget consultation, Sayed Kayum confirmed he is undergoing medical treatment. He also clarified that his treatment is personal and the costs will be borne by him and not the Fijian government or the taxpayers.
Every single person that comes to Fiji, whether it's a visitor, whether it's a diplomat, whether it's a minister, every single citizen and every single returning resident or even a tourist that wants to come to Fiji has to go into quarantine in Fiji. And of course, I'll be doing that upon my return.
Former Fijians residing in Auckland, New Zealand are safe, but the current situation is grim as the local emergence of the UK variant of the new coronavirus was detected. Fijian Honorary Consul in Auckland, Harish Lodhia, says all residents have been advised to adhere to the guidelines and gatherings implemented by the government. Kritika Kumar reports.
Harish Lodhia says they haven't received any call for help from the Fijian families.
It's a blanket rule for everybody. So the Fijians, or whether it be Tongans or Samoans or Cook Islanders, Maoris, everybody, they're all in the same boat.
The Secretary of New Zealand Fiji Football, Mohammad Ashraf, says the situation is under control. He adds the residents are coping well as they have gotten used to the lockdown.
So I've contacted all my team officials and the delegates of the teams, and I've checked with them. I've sent them emails, and then I've got replies back to say, yeah, they're all doing well.
Ashraf adds unity amongst the Fijian community is important.
And the unity amongst the Fijian community in New Zealand, or wherever they are based in, it's always a talking point. And once again, I'm pretty sure the community, not just the Fijian community, but the whole of New Zealand will come out pretty strong after this.
Auckland has moved to a late level 3 lockdown for 7 days, following an announcement from New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern on Saturday. The rest of the country has transitioned to level 2 for a week. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Fiji imports $1 million worth of goat meat annually as local farmers are only able to produce 190,000 tons. In an effort to reduce the import bill, Agriculture Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says they will assist farmers acquire new goat breeding materials. Sanya Nimboila reports.
Importing goat meat from overseas is the way to meet local demand.
We don't have to import and spend that $1 million. But the other thing is that if goat meat is also consumed widely, then goat meat could be a substitute for other meats that we're importing, for example, lamb meat.
Livestock farmer Moisia Sakasaya says the new goat breed will help them increase their livestock.
My goats are the usual breeds that are available in Fiji. It's usually termed as jungly because the size of my goats are very small, and I am very grateful to the ministry for considering me to be part of this release of the breed box. I am looking forward to growing my stock and seeing a big difference in my production levels.
The ministry has urged local goat farmers to maximize the strategic advantages available locally, such as favorable weather patterns and good pastures. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
Fiji will continue to introduce innovative investment and export strategies to attract key investors and exporters. Speaking at the virtual Fiji Trade Expo series this morning, Trade Minister Fayaz Koya highlighted that Investment Fiji will push for opportunities to lure these individuals. Josiah Nanunga reports.
Just probably to put it into perspective,
this virtual expo will allow potential investors and exporters to take advantage of Fiji's premium brands.
The first country of focus for the Expo series. We invite our New Zealand buyers and companies to explore the range of products and services that Fiji has to offer. We have a great product, brand Fiji, that sets us apart due to our uniqueness.
Koya adds Fiji's focus is on Australian, New Zealand, Japanese, Chinese, Indonesia, US and European markets.
Each month, the Expo series will target different markets such as New Zealand, Australia, Japan, China, Indonesia, India, Europe and USA.
Investment Fiji will continue to spearhead means to attract foreign direct investment opportunities.
Obviously, the digital economy is going to be obviously an opportunity, the sector for us that will lead us from recovery to sustainability.
The pandemic has hindered a lot of trade and investment opportunities, with the rate of foreign investors setting up businesses here in Fiji forecast to drop by at least 40%. The minister says Fiji is tapping into these opportunities in a bid to strengthen our connection with buyers across the globe. Jose Nanunga, FBC News.
Outgoing ANZ country head South Minam has clarified he has no aspirations to enter politics. Minam says leaving ANZ Bank is not an easy decision, having spent almost 11 years with the organisation, but he is now looking forward to pursuing some other local challenges. He adds that it is the right time to move on to something which he and his family can spend a few more years on. Minam adds he hopes to continue to work and provide support to communities across Fiji.
Once again, no, I don't have any aspiration. I love what I do. I love working in organizations. It's my passion, and I would like to continue doing that piece as long as I can stay, and I will be here in Fiji.
And time now for Business with Whitney.
Thanks, Edwin. Coming up in Business tonight, new arrangement to enhance financial literacy among Fijians. And World Seagrass Day marked in Maduata. Stay with us.
Bula, alang gonoa, ilutoka, lutalita ka ng Bula FM, bertini nambang 2 NSR.
Bula FM, nambang 2 NSR.
Fijians across all sectors will now be able to learn how to better manage their funds. ANZ Bank today signed a memorandum of understanding with the Reserve Bank of Fiji for the Financial Literacy Train the Trainers program. Lina Rees with the details.
The education program will build people's knowledge and confidence to make informed decisions about their money.
In a lot of forums that we've gone to, they normally say we are rich in a lot of natural resources and so forth, but we are money poor. This session is to change the mindset and make people better manage their funds.
Over 22,000 people in Fiji have taken part in ANZ's Money Minded program that teaches financial literacy.
It is so important for everyone to understand how to manage money for today and tomorrow. But I think today, signing this MOU with the Reserve Bank of Fiji, it just endorses and puts a seal to it that our Money Minded program is one of the best in the market.
RBF Chief Manager of Financial System Development, Poaso Erecoro, says this workshop is part of a wider COVID-19 economic response financial literacy outreach campaign, which aligns with RBF's efforts in driving the national financial inclusion agenda. Lina Rees, FBC News.
Sharon from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money market.
Good evening. A quick look at trades on our local South Pacific Stock Exchange. A total of 55 transactions with around 53,000 shares valued at about $137,000 were traded last week. Activities were recorded for 13 of the listed securities. Following this, the SPX market capitalization fell marginally by 0.35% and concluded the week at $3.42 billion. In currencies, the Aussie dollar and other riskier currencies recovered some ground against the US dollar after suffering their biggest plunge in a year at the end of last week. The Aussie and Kiwi jumped 0.6%, while the euro gained 0.2%. In the week ahead, the Reserve Bank of Australia will hold its monthly policy meeting on Tuesday. Markets are widely expecting it to reinforce its forward guidance for 3 more years of near-zero rates, while also addressing the market dislocation.
Also, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will speak on the economy this Friday, the same day as their monthly payroll data is due. And that's it from your HFC Bank for now. Thank you.
Here are the local exchange rates as set early this morning. Our dollar declined against the US greenback and the Chinese yuan, as well as the other international currencies we cover. However, the Sangomoli rose against the currencies of our two main trading partners, the Aussie and Kiwi dollars. Looking at commodities, oil prices dropped $1, closing at $62 per barrel. Gold dropped sharply to close at $1,745 per ounce, and silver was down, closing at $26.92 an ounce. Maritime communities in Madhuwata today gathered in Korotumbu village to celebrate World Seagrass Day. Organized by C3 Fiji, the celebration focused on raising awareness about the seagrass, with British High Commissioner George Edgar officiating as chief guest. Eleanor Turangaivu has more.
There's been little to no recognition of the seagrass compared to other marine species. But today around the world, what may seem like an insignificant member of the ocean is being celebrated for the important role it plays in the marine ecosystem.
Seagrass is not often a favorite to people, as most people do not use them as food security or otherwise. However, today the small insignificant member of the ocean system, and I am proud to tell everyone that it is the pulse of the ocean.
Seagrass meadows, or Wevutia as it is known locally, are found throughout Fiji. There are 6 seagrass species, and the meadows cover at least 59.19 square kilometers of shallow waters.
They contribute to the largest percentage of oxygen supplies in the ocean, allowing other living species to survive, like fish, crabs, octopuses, shellfishes, and even coral polyps.
Maritime communities in Madhuwata gathered in Korotumbu village today to celebrate World Seagrass Day and raise awareness on its importance to their livelihood.
If we look after nature, nature will look after us. And I think that what you're doing in the work that's on display here today in terms of raising awareness, but in the work that you're doing much more generally around the protection of nature, that's really making a reality of what otherwise might be an empty slogan.
March is marked worldwide as Seagrass Month, and March 1st is celebrated as World Seagrass Day. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
And that's it from Business Tonight. We now join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thank you and good evening. Ahead in sports. Rewasa Taviuni not filing police complaints. And the Vule targets Commonwealth Games. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Ini from Raki Raki. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Promising an upcoming rugby player, Manueli Maisamoa has forgiven police white rep Watisoni Sevutia for assaulting him during the Anawaka Sevens quarter-final match over the weekend. Maisamoa has also asked his club officials not to file a police complaint about the incident. The team released a video today asking fans for their support and to stop attacking the police players on social media about the incident.
We have forgiven the police white team and we are pleading with our fans to not attack them on social media. We have also asked for forgiveness and we should all work together.
National Amateur Boxing Champion Chone Koroilangilang in the Vule is being groomed as a prospect for the 2022 Commonwealth Games. After bowing out of the Olympic qualifiers last year, Ndavule set a 2-year plan for his next big international outing. Venina Rakautonga reports.
It won't be an easy feat for the young Kandavu native, but he believes he has time on his hands.
Because in overseas there are more than 100 and 200 fights. Like I fought with champions and gold medalists, Olympic gold medalists and the Commonwealth. And those fighters like me, only not more than 50 fights.
Since international exposure is not possible anytime soon, Davule says self-training is the only way forward.
Every night I used to go home, watch all my previous fights, and even in the night I used to watch all my fights, and I have to see all my weaknesses and where I have to improve on my skills and ring craft.
Boxing Fiji President Manasa Mbaravilala says for now Davule is focusing on challenging local boxers.
Athletes at that level, they're continuously training. So hopefully that, we'll see some good challenge, with Johnny. I think Johnny shouldn't take for granted that he's going to win. There's some up-and-coming boxers in Fiji right now, who can take him on, and it's good. I think it's good for the sport.
Davule had a good start to the year, winning the first 2020 Golden Glove Boxing Championship last week at the Commander Stan Brown Gym in Suva. Venina Rakotonga, FBC Sports.
The Lautoka football team knows getting the 3 points on offer in the first match against Navua will set the pace for their National League campaign. The new players, as well as coach Tangi Wonolangi, are also gunning for a good start with the Blues. Tali Materakula reports.
Winning the opener in their home ground is the solid start the Blues are aiming for.
Definitely it will set the pace for us to win the title. Our aim is to win the titles this year. They've made a good squad, so that's why I'm here to win.
We've been preparing very well too. We're gonna give our best to give a good game with Navua.
They are also calling on fans to turn up in numbers and support the team against an unpredictable Navua side.
The fans, you need support from the fans. Without the fans, you can be here. We need support and we can win games.
And any team that take them lightly will, on receiving ends. So we are just working on that. They have a very young side. They have a very good coach, Master. And we just hope that we have to be on that level for us to be able to play a good game against them.
Lautoka hosts Navua on Sunday at 3 p.m. at Churchill Park. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
Gareth Bale scored twice and set up another as Tottenham thrashed Burnley 4-0 this morning in the English Premier League. The villagers on the island of Mothe in Laos still can't get over their team's win against Suva in Cricket Fiji's Challenge Cup. There was a big celebration on the island following the victory, and now the team begins preparing for the next challenger, Onoi Lau. Aquila Dama with the story.
That's what this trophy means to the people of Mothe.
We, the Ndele Makoto clan of Mothe, are so happy that our team won the challenge trophy. Many teams are after this trophy, but it's here in Mothe at the moment.
Mothe has produced many national reps in rugby and boxing, but cricket is their natural sport.
Today our cricket team is the champion, and I'm thankful to the players for making Mothe proud.
The team will start their preparations for the next challenge this week.
We are about to start our training camp because it's a tough match against Onilau, and they will try to take away this trophy by my side.
Mothe will play Onilau at Albert Park in Suva later this month. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Fans can expect nail-biting cricket matches during the Easter Championship when teams from the Central, Western and the Islands battle for supremacy. Cricket Fiji Chief Executive Alex Conrote says they anticipate an exciting championship, particularly with players fighting for a spot in the men's national team. Conrote says the tournament will be used to identify the best players to prepare for the ICC World Cup qualifiers.
After the Easter Cup will be the men's national trials. So we'll announce the squad for trials after the finals of the Easter Games. Then the men will have their trials. Then a squad will be announced to prepare for ICC World Cup qualifier.
The Fiji National Rugby League is expanding its outreach development program to the rural and maritime islands. Acting Chief Executive Don Natambe says they are taking this leap to help grow the sport in the country. Natambe adds this is a 4-year project where FNRL is mapping a strategic plan for maritime and rural areas.
We can look forward to a quantum leap in our participation numbers in the regional community programs, schools competition and festivals, and national youth and senior competitions.
Fiji Mbati reps William Kikau and Apisai Koroisawa expected to start the new NRL season with a bang. The pair were in fine form for the Panthers over the weekend in a pre-season match against Mike Asibo and the Eagles. In today's play of the day, the kick that sparked a bit of controversy in the Super Rugby match between the Hurricanes and Blues on Saturday. Many deemed the conversion by Jody Barrett for the Canes in the 63rd minute successful, but the touch judges ruled otherwise. That's it from sports tonight. In World of the Weird and Wonderful later on, a school in India has replaced tuition with plastic waste. Find out more after the break.
We love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Rain and thunderstorms were experienced over the Fiji group. In the west, mostly breezy and cloudy conditions prevailed, with few showers late in the afternoon. From Pacific Harbour to Suva, a mixture of rain and clouds were experienced throughout the day, and in the north, mainly cloudy with considerable showers. At sea, northwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 8:14 p.m, followed by low tide at 2:30 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:05. For tomorrow, periods of rain, heavy at times, and a few thunderstorms for the southern parts and interior of Vitilevu, Kandavu, and nearby smaller islands. Elsewhere, occasional rain with isolated heavy falls and a few thunderstorms expected. The outlook for Wednesday, rain to start easing in most areas. And in Fijian Pulse tonight, we ask, what action should be taken against players who assault others on the field?
I think they should be banned and taken to court because this will be a lesson to other players.
They should be banned from rugby.
They're not supposed to be punished. They just give them some 3 or 4 months banned from the rugby. It gives them some lesson.
They should be given a second chance because sometimes they are under pressure while on the field.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, the Akshar Forum is a model school located in Assam, India that provides students with tuition money in exchange for collecting plastic waste. With the rise of plastic pollution and its associated health risks, the Akshar Foundation decided to accept plastic waste as a form of tuition. And recapping our main stories, political parties unwilling to engage, no pay cuts for civil servants, and new program to counter pandemic misinformation. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, last week we asked, do you believe the roadwork being undertaken is up to par? 55% answered yes. This week we are asking, will you take the COVID-19 vaccine when it's available in Fiji? Visit our FBC News website to answer. And on to our shot of the day, a beautiful sunset captured in Tamavua by Paeru. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos at email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our various social media accounts, including Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanda.
Hi, I'm Asalika and I'm from Lotoka and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.